What going on, everybody? David Mitchell here, Voice of Autism, episode 95. Episode 95. And I hope you guys are having a great Labor Day weekend, but it is exactly a crazy one. And you guys probably will understand why I explained the reason why. If you guys have been listening to the news or Weather Channel about Hurricane Dorian, yeah, that's in area category 5, but they're not saying it either might make landfall here in the Carolina, either here in South Carolina or North Carolina later on this week. And it's very strong right now. I've been keeping track of it, and gotta be wanting so, and that was one reason why I did for Ralph and video this week. That reason why right there. Ironically, if you guys don't know. But yeah, I did for Ralph in the video because I know when Hurricane Dorian come by, we're probably gonna be out of power for a couple days, and the rail line will probably be shut down for a couple days because of that. So yeah, might not be able to get the rail fan done next week. Flood power might be out, so I'm keeping hope up that it's in a week by the time we get to it. But I'm hoping will be concerned. But yeah. And now it's been 6 days since my 21st birthday, and tomorrow will make a full week since I turned 21. So yeah, crazy. But I'll be keeping track of that Hurricane Dorian. But yeah, and it's crazy. But yeah, but people in Florida are still watching it, and sort of Florida declared a state of emergency, and now South Carolina declared a state of emergency. So we're on a state of emergency. North Carolina will be next. They're taking this thing serious. So yeah. Also, me and my lovely fiance Velvaria were doing good, particularly great per se. But there are stuff that we're still working on to improve. But everything is going great. So yeah. And if you guys want to go to my fiance YouTube channel, link to our YouTube channel down below. But yeah. But it's been crazy. I already met my best friend Anthony, giving him the heads up, get ready for the hurricane because it's serious. So yeah. But did a couple of days ago, or check about day for technically yesterday be exact, and the thing have changed from the last couple of days. Yeah, it's crazy, Gene. I think I have not gotten a back from Anthony today, meaning he's busy. And well, he did said last night when I did talk to him, but yeah. But it's crazy. But me and my fiance are doing good. And we got about we got 5 bumps until the wedding. So yeah, exactly what that. Just 1 minute, guys. Yeah, 4 months, not five. My bad. Oop. Notifications go out, but yeah, it's crazy. We got 4 months of Jameeville wedding, and we crazy, but it coming up. So, and it's actually one today or with because it August 23rd, one day of the month. Don't make 3 months until me and Val get married, and 2 months before I move. So yeah, but that crazy. But if Hurricane Dorian hit and it's very bad, that's probably going to be a problem for us. I mean, we'll have to put the weather back. But I already know what's going to happen. Let's just hope it don't. Because the way Hurricane Dorian's setting up right now, they're looking nasty. So, yeah. That is a crazy thing. But a lot of stuff been going on. Ooh. Well, I might have thinking about finding a way to do gaming live streams back on my YouTube channel again, but that's something you guys know I'm still thinking about. I need to find the right stuff to do it with. So yeah. But it is crazy on what's been going on. I mean, shit, one time we had the hurricane coming towards South Carolina, it made landfall. We were back in 2016. Now we're at Category 2, and we were evacuated for it. So we were not here when it made landfall. So yeah, but we might not be able to evacuate this time. Don't have money, but yeah, what hope to gain a week by the time we're here. We're into the 13th day.
I'm honestly in fucking shock. I expressed that a slur against disabled people was offensive and this admin kicked me from the group. As you can see, I was civil and just expressed my concern about the use of a slur. First photo is the original post. Pink is the op. Green is all the admins I tagged. Purple I the admin that booted me.
Oh, that right. Different from people who being rude. Mm-hmm. Different from a group right here with we still experience discrimination on so many levels. And it's something that needs a job. I'll be honest about that. It's something that we need to work toward a job.
This makes me absolutely angry pouting face if my son is having a meltdown. I don't have time to worry about ignorant idiots. My concern is making sure my son is and feels safe. Some of the comments on there seem off.
One not good thing about a parent like that don't like our parents who when a kid have a meltdown they try to control the kid in a way. But it's very difficult and it aggravating. But yeah. It's open from my fiance out and some of her friends that I'll say toward the end. But yeah, same with this right here. But it's crazy. But yeah, it's crazy what's been going on.
Hey, y'all got eyes and can see the body language here, yeah? What is it telling you? Body autonomy is a thing. How many times does that autism speaks show an autistic lacking body autonomy and can't see it, or ignore it? But WTF? This is inclusion by force. Sorry, you can't include us after trying to eradicate us off the planet, bumblefucks.
Yep, that right. If you guys remember Autism Speak and crap they pulled, like literally their whole thing and a lot of crap we got against Autism Speaks. But yeah, it's something that I hate to say it, but Autism Speak have done more wrong than they have good to the autism community. They've done a lot of horrible crap to us.
I have been developing an inclusive activity toolkit to make mainstream groups more accessible for neurodivergent people. I would really love some comments slash feedback on it so far so I can make it the best it can be before making it public smiling face with smiling eyes.
Did it from a friend of mine who's trying to make it to get neurotypical or people who are not autistic to understand us a lot better because it's very hard if you think about it. But yeah, it's crazy. But it's a crazy scene. Keep on getting the notification on side. But yeah, there are a lot of stuff that the autistic community and autism community go through.
I've been thinking about this article and the outrage it has caused. The more it's spoken about, the bigger the platform he has given. There will be many written replies, but can we guarantee people to read them? I would suggest that we nominate a person or team of people to be interviewed by The Guardian, or even for those people to record a podcast. What concerns me the most about the article is the timing. Autumn term is due to start next week. Our children, and use this term to those who do not even have children, are struggling enough in the sausage factory, which is the education system. This article is going to make it harder for our autistic children. As adults, we are trying to pave the way for them.
That is true in a certain sense. But people on autism spectrum, we deal with discriminate and segregate and all that on a daily basis.
Deaf civil rights parallels autistic civil rights. Cochlear implant. What is the cochlear implant? It is a device that is surgically installed in the cochlea to give a deaf people sound. It uses electrical impulses to send sound waves to the brain by working around the damaged cochlea, creating a perceived indication of sound to a deaf person or hard of hearing person. The hearing people rejoiced when this technology was released. They would say this is a victory over the tragedy of deafness, and they expected the deaf community to be very excited. The deaf community does not view itself as a group of disabled people. The view is a minority culture group. They have their own language, similar life and cultural experiences. Not being able to hear is not any more different than skin, color, or religion. The introduction of cochlear implants was well intended by medical professionals, but it is viewed as an attack against deaf culture. Hearing people are trying to enforce their idea of normal onto deaf people. They were encouraging them to abandon their language and culture. They compare it to genocide. How cheap parallels to Kurebi culture and Aba abuse. Cochlear implants were invented to fix deaf people. According to hearing people, deaf children can interact with their peers. They were able to interact with them before, but now, they are forced to conform. Aba is to make autistic children act like their neurotypical peers. It considered successful if the child is indistinguishable from a neurotypical children. Encouraging the child to mask themselves to make it look like they are cured. On the same token, you have the people who say who they cure autism. That is where Carrie Rivera, Amanda Mary, and all the other charlatans come in. They play into the tragedy narrative. The deaf culture was seen as a tragedy to the hearing people. The deaf people just wanted to be left alone and let them live how they want. Well-intending people do damage by acting on their convictions. They did not ask the community of people who were being affected. On March 6, 1988, the Gallaudet University's Board of Trustees announced that a hearing president had been selected as the seventh president to this all-deaf university. The deaf community on and off campus advocated for deaf president. At that point, there were over 100 deaf people who possessed doctorates and more who held positions in administration. 2 of the 3 finalists for the president position were deaf. Many people were confident that there would be a deaf president. Even with all the evidence and support, the board chose the only hearing candidate, Elizabeth A. Zinsser. She was the assistant chancellor of the University of North Carolina in Greensboro. The students understandably not happy with this decision. The students shut down the campus with support of alumni, staff, and faculty.
Here, kicker. Did it part as discriminate in a segregation, not to the autistic or autism community, but for people who are different, who live differently, neurotypical. They are no worse than the Nazis, unless they accept that. But people like them who try to get into our side, they try to screw around with them, those people are Nazis. One who accept us for who we are, they're not. But one who do, who try to screw it up thinking that they know what is best for us, I count those people as Nazis. But yeah, they are really sick.
The students and their supporters had 4 demands. 1. Elizabeth Zinsser must resign and a deaf person selected as president. 2. Dane Spillman must step down as chairperson of the Board of Trustees. 3. Deaf people must make up 51% majority on the board. 4. There would no reprisals against any student or employee involved in this protest. At the end of the week, the protest ended. They were victorious. All demands were met. Dr. I. King Jordan was Gallaudet's first deaf president. Ha DPN to the autistic civil rights movement. When I was introduced to the autistic community and heard about the fight.
That's right. I've been saying it in my video. We are in a civil rights movement for the autistic or autism community. I've been saying it for a while now. But we're technically in one of those type of periods where we are in a civil rights movement for the autistic or autism community. Just like the blacks did, and just like the deaf people did, we're having the same thing done. And because the people who do the segregating, because they can't do it to black people, next best thing they go after people who are different. Who probably can't hear, or probably who are autistic, and a lot of others, even Down syndrome. So yeah, we're dealing with the same thing that black people back over 60, 70 years ago dealt with during the civil rights movement. So yeah, and we're getting tired of them putting her around.
When I was introduced to the autistic community and heard about the fight, I first thought about this fight. They have similar themes, but not the same. The hearing people were talking over the deaf people for too long. Gallaudet University is the university for deaf people. Deaf people should be representing deaf people, not hearing people representing deaf people. Autistic people
That's
are
true.
experiencing the same thing. We have to
That is true. We are. That was the same with the black communities back then. So yeah.
We have to protest and speak out against ableism, abusive treatments, and therapies. Instead of a board of a university, there are mostly neurotypical people on the board of Autism Speaks. They want to decide what is best for us. When we speak out, they pretend they did not hear us. They are against what they call self-advocates. The fight that deaf community fought at Gallaudet gives us a hopeful future. They were able to win their fight and be represented on the board. We can do it. We need to keep fighting. Not hear us. They are against what they call self-advocates. The fight that deaf community.
Exactly. And Jane is that without being autistic, like me and my fiance and everybody else that I know, stuff like this we deal with on a daily basis.
What is autism? How the term became too broad to have meaning anymore. Tom Clements. The
Okay.
fashion for celebrating neurodiversity ignores those with debilitating severe autism, which has created a rift in the community.
That is something that I hate to say, but it's not true because one, this article go to destroy the community. Like, what are we? Like, some people don't realize this. Berkeley made it against autistics.
On 26 August 2019 10.30, the word autism means a lot of different things to different people. To some, it conjures an image of the socially awkward eccentric who, besotted by a narrow set of interests, eschews small talk and large gatherings in favor of solitude. To others, it's a profoundly life-limiting disorder that consumes every waking hour of a family's life, a medical disability that entails unpredictable bouts of aggression resulting in torn upholstery, cracked skulls, and savage bites. Severely autistic people have a life expectancy of 36 in the United States and 39.5 in Europe, while their parents and caregivers often experience PTSD and stress similar to that of combat veterans. Mildly autistic people, on the other hand, though far more prone to depression and suicide, can go on to lead productive and fulfilling lives, often blending
Fucking
imperceptibly into the
propaganda.
wider population
Fucking
despite their
nitweed people.
idiosyncrasies and social difficulties. Many
Bernie made it a neurotypical. You can tell by how it is. And I'm exposing the article for what it is. A fucking lie. It's a lie and it's propaganda. It's exactly what Nazis did to the Jews. For people who are not Jewish or are not history buff, before the outbreak of World War II, before the Holocaust scene started, they accept that they did to the Jewish people. So technically, same thing happened to the autistics with this part. And Burton Major is not autistic, don't know anything about the autism culture or autism community. And I guarantee they'll probably say it need to be cured for all of that. And and you already told here that it was sided with people who are neurotypical.
Many people now self-identify as autistic as though it were a fashion label rather than a debilitating disorder.
Neurotypical. Only a neurotypical would fucking say that. Somebody who's not autistic would say that just to keep it at a curse and at debilitating. So article like this from people who make it are fucking sick. These people need to be kicked out of the country or put in a mental asylum. And I hate saying it. People like this are the problem, and different and ableist.
Yet a report this week claimed that the difference between people diagnosed with autism and the rest of the population is shrinking. The autism spectrum is so all-encompassing that experts are now finally starting to question the validity of the term itself. After studying the meta-analyses of autism data, Drive Laurent Montron, a professor at Université de Montréal, concluded that the objective difference between people with autism and the general population will disappear in less than 10 years.
And that is good. Do you know the reason why? Because ableism will be not that prevalent. People who will be treated horribly will not be there that much. The bullying, the segregation will be non-existent because of that. Because that thing is disappearing. And this person is fucking terrified because they know when it's gone, they won't have anything to go against us.
The definition of autism may get too vague to be meaningful. It is hardly unreasonable to think that a spectrum that encompasses an erudite professor, such as Drive Temple Grandin, who has authored several books and can speak in entrancing detail about her condition to packed lecture auditoriums, and severely autistic adults in institutions, who have to wear nappies due to incontinence, and helmets to protect themselves.
This person is saying like a true neurotypical, and I hate to say Temple Grandin, she is not part of the autistic community anymore. She is going against everything that the autistic and autism community are working for. It's so disappointing and it's sad. I used to look up to her, but with all this now, I can't. I cannot. See, that is one of the ultimate betrayal of your own community, your own diversity, your own minority. Oops, sorry about that. She literally is jabbing her own community in the back. It's so disappointing.
It is hardly unreasonable to think that a spectrum that encompasses an erudite professor, such as Drive Temple Grandin, who has authored several books and can speak in entrancing detail about her condition to packed lecture auditoriums, and severely autistic adults in institutions, who have to wear nappies due to incontinence, and helmets to protect themselves from involuntary self-injury, is so broad, so as to be medically meaningless. Advertisement. Aside from changing diagnostic practices, the general shift in advocacy in the direction of the increasingly fashionable neurodiversity paradigm has led to what I and many others see as the trivialization of autism. Neurodiversity posits that conditions such as autism, and dyslexia and dyspraxia are not so much conditions to be treated but differences to be embraced and even celebrated.
Exactly. It needs to be celebrated. And another part, if you Burton who James who wanted to say James, then almost like a Nazi.
Neurodiversity posits that conditions such as autism, and dyslexia and dyspraxia are not so much conditions to be treated but differences to be embraced and even celebrated. Despite the noble intentions of many of its proponents, there are those who feel that neurodiversity excludes those for whom autism confers few, if any, real cognitive advantages. Despite its claim to be inclusive of all neurotypes, its ethos inevitably means that less verbally able autistic people are marginalized from the discussion. Rarely at a neurodiversity event,
That'd be a fucking lie right there.
Rarely at a neurodiversity event, particularly one that aims to present autism as a competitive advantage in the marketplace, will you find an autistic person with an IQ of lower than 30 who is prone to lashing out and soiling themselves. Rain Man made autistic people visible, but it also entrenched a myth. Carl Knights.
Hey, well, that is true. Wayman did one thing that helped with the ableism to the autism community. For those people who don't know, it actually was one of the triggers.
Carl Knights. Redmore. The increasing emphasis on autism as neurodiversity has also created a huge rift in the community, particularly between autistic self-advocates and parents. Self-advocates, many.
There are reasons why. Because of all the crap that they do against their train coming. Yeah, at a train. But they done so much crap against it, it ain't even funny anymore. That's how bad it is. Like, literally. Like, and the parents who are part of it are narcissistic. If you don't believe me, narcissistic parents are more dangerous to autistics than anything.
Self-advocates, many of whom possess an above-average intellectual ability, as well as great insight into their own condition, celebrate their autism as a core feature of their identity and often promote their neurological difference as a strength. Many who self-identify on social media using the #ActuallyAutistic hashtag insist that autistic people must be at the forefront of all autism discourse and that only autistic people themselves can be considered to be true experts in the condition.
That is true. People who say that not are narcissistic, they're ableist. That's it like Nazi saying that they know what is best for Jews. So technically, people who are saying this, who are saying that we don't know and that we're not expert, they're no worse than the Nazis.
Advertisement. Such an attitude has led to the marginalization of autistic people who, by virtue of their disability, are unable to speak and rely on others to do so on their behalf. It has also led to the legitimization in self-advocacy circles of self-diagnosis, a practice that may in part account for the increased prevalence of autism and the watering down of the term itself. Many now self-identify as autistic as though autism were a fashion label rather than a debilitating disorder.
Only a neurotypical would say debilitating disorder. That would fucking get me pissed off. No, there's GPU on that. I can hear that back. Because it's that the ableism, the segregation, and the wrong treatment of autistic or people on the autism spectrum won't quit if we don't quit people like this who make it a debilitating disorder. All that.
My own life straddles the line between autism's high minus and low functioning polarities. I was originally diagnosed with upper end autism, am fluent in 4 languages, and have been able to live and work abroad despite significant social difficulties. My younger sibling, by contrast, who was also diagnosed with autism, will never be able to lead any semblance of a conventional life and will require full time care until the day he dies.
I did partner chanted actually a fucking liar. Do you know the reason why? Autistic people will not fucking say this. A neurotypical would. So, Burton, who wrote the article, didn't know you just gave yourself a fucking lie. You need to get caught red-handed. Don't I fucking try, you fucking lying at neurotypical. So, and the kicker is that she gave it away with that single sentence right there. I may be on the autism spectrum, but I know if you have another person who are on the autism spectrum, there are ways to help them improve their life, get them better on a better road. Yes, I'm live streaming, not right now. I'm sorry about that, guys.
My parents naturally worry about his fate when they are no longer around. Despite sharing the same label, it's apparent that we have very different conditions. It's part of the reason I am reluctant to use the term autism to describe my own comparably mild disability for fear it will devalue experiences like my younger brother's. It has become apparent, not just to scientists but to many in the community, that autism needs dividing into separate conditions, starting with the reintroduction of Asperger's syndrome as an important differentiator between mild and severe variants. Contemporary autism discourse and research are both skewed in favor of the verbally able autistic population at the expense of the most vulnerable, and with the growing popularity.
Here, fucking see. The science model is what put autistics in danger. The Nazi didn't choose gays, lesbian, bisexual, homosexual. They did the exact same thing to them. Freaking Nazis did the exact same thing. And we know what happened with the Holocaust. This up need to quit. It needs to quit. If we don't quit this, we're looking at more discrimination, more segregation, and probably a Holocaust for the autism community or people who are autistic. This up right here, the fucking side model, need to fucking end.
Contemporary autism discourse and research are both skewed in favor of the verbally able autistic population at the expense of the most vulnerable, and with the growing popularity of the neurodiversity concept, this gap is sure to increase. It's high time that changed, and that the lower end of the autism was treated with the seriousness it deserves. The well-being of some of society's most vulnerable people depends on it. Tom Clements is an autism self-advocate and author from Cambridge. A Civil Conversation has never been more important in American public life. Guardian journalism, driven by fact-based reporting, offers an independent voice of reason at a time when the national conversation is divisive and embittered. At a time of acrimony, America is in need of public civility. For 200 years, Guardian journalism has been committed to giving
that fucking ad's in. Sorry about that, guys. But that part, all right there, is part of ableism. I see the person who said that, I don't believe that they're autistic or on autism spectrum. Because you're saying, it's something that I'll say, I would diagnose with the R word, retarded, at the low end of the spectrum, where like she was talking about, with her brother, with I knew what a fucking red flag of her fucking lying. My thing is that they had me diagnosed as mentally retarded, unable to learn. That I would probably have been changed out of diapers for the rest of my life, would have been had been taken care of like a baby, all of that. But look at me now. I proved them wrong. Her to put it in a sentence that will screw and can be dangerous for the autistic and autism community and for people who have autism. See, it is clear danger. And if she is autistic, then fucking shame on her. She don't see the reason why we are doing what we're doing. She, I did say this. She is fucking dumb for that. Oop. I have Messenger on there, but yeah, it's crazy, but it is crazy. But yeah, but subconscious won't quit unless we tell them enough is enough. Because I know what something like this can do. Because one, my grandma was German, and my grandma mom before she died told her what Nazi did, and it was pretty fucked up. Oh, we gotta update. We're at we know dip up from a couple hours ago. Hmm. I'm still tracking that sucker because it's been 2 years since last time or technically 3 years to be exact, that we got hit by a hurricane with a Hurricane Matthew back in 2016. So yeah, that crazy, and it a little sketchy. But this person don't realize that they are really putting their own the people in our own minority in danger by how they are thinking. Saying it debilitating, you're really going to put us in danger. It's sickening. It is sickening. If she really is, then she did the exact same thing that Temple Grandin have done. She have betrayed the autistic or autism community. Because everybody on the spectrum is not the same. If you start putting autism in everybody the same, you're technically doing that to what Nazi did to the Jews, gays, lesbian, bisexual, homosexuals, and people who are disabled. I forgot about say disabled people earlier, but when it came to the Holocaust, they did it to those people, and it was disgusting. I have friends who are Jewish, so this right here, I know, and plus, what my grandma told me that her mom told her before her mom died. Yeah, my grandma was born 4 years after World War II ended, but my grandma know what go on because of what her mom told her and what her dad told her. My grandma, dad, and mom are not around anymore. They passed away long before I was even born, probably in 60s, 70s. But yeah, it was pretty disturbing. But if you think about it, stuff like this won't end unless we tell people like that. We're not going to put up with it anymore. And the parents don't realize how much danger they put our community in. And she don't realize that we're trying to stop a holocaust or something really bad from happening. And those parents that she to find and saying about who deal with people who are severe and who are, that saying have PTSD and all that, those people are narcissistic. Do you know the reason why? Because they did not get the kid that they wanted. They want a kid that act like another person kid or act like this person or act like this. They don't think about, you know, diversity or inclusion. They think about be this person or act like this way. Your way of acting is not right and acceptable. That's just like going, you know, after, Jewish people. Pretty messed up. But yeah, it messed up and for a reason. You have to just think about it. The whole Holocaust thing that happened in World War II, if people were more accepting and inclusion, something like that would never have happened. A lot of stuff. But because of narcissistic people, people who are ableism, discriminate, and all of that. 1 minute. But yeah, it's crazy in a way. It's crazy because if you just think about it, narcissistic people who are violent and toxic, are abusive toward our people and would hurt them. I might, I'll be honest, I might be a little narcissistic, but I'm not a violent person. I'm not. There are different ranges of narcissistic. My narcissistic is from being overprotective people I care about. And yeah, you can be a protective one. And that can develop over a year. You can overcome it, but yeah. But those people who are out there who want them people to be the same, those are the real narcissistic people. And I have seen them. And it messed up, but yeah. It didn't mess up on what's going on. But if you did think about it, if we work toward in, inclusion and all that, stuff like this that happened to us would not be would be bad. It would be better to include us and accept us for who we are than to segregate us. Because for years that been going on, and I'll be honest, I've been gated, gated when I was in school. So yeah, they only let me pick one class. They picked the classes that are free for me. Mm. minutes from now. But yeah, sorry about that. I was on Messenger. One of my friends was messaging me. But if we work on inclusion and acceptance, you know, if we work on that, it'll be a better for the autistic and autism community. Never saying acting up on here, but I need to get a new charger for my, tablet. But yeah, if we work on inclusion and acceptance and accepting people for their quirk and because they are different, you get a better chance of life. But people who don't accept us for who we are, they are just, you know, narcissistic, ableist people who can't accept people for who they are. There we go. But yeah, it's something I see happen a lot. Excuse me.
Actress Valerie Harper, best known for her role as Rhoda on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, has died. Interests.
Oh, that's up an L. Wrong scene.
Ice cream shop in Dallas gives teens, adults with special needs work experience. By Jolie Francis and Susan Schwartz. August 27, 2019, 8 o'clock p.m. at email, Tom Landis. Watch news headlines today, Aug. 30, 2019. For one ice cream shop in Dallas, business is booming, and not just because of its super sweet treats. Howdy Homemade Ice Cream is run mostly by 13 employees, ages 16 to 31, who all have special needs. When Tom Landis, the company's founder, opened Howdy Homemade, he came up with an idea to employ those with Down syndrome and autism. Advertisement. More, Target releasing adaptive Halloween costumes for restaurants and had experience working in the special needs community. He had also heard from many in the community that they were having difficulties getting hired, according to ABC affiliate WFAO TV. Tom Landis and Marie Kerrigan, seen here in this undated photo, spends every day making 34 different flavors of ice cream. They rotate from a total of 62 or plus. It just jumped out, Landis told WFAO TV about his idea. What we wanted to do was create a place. Everything in the restaurant was designed for people with special needs to succeed. One knife, no fryer, and they get there on the front lines, and they're friendly. They are restoring friendliness to the hospitality industry. More, we all scream for ice cream. Avocado and unicorn are among top trending flavors of the year. And Marie Kerrigan, the Howdy Homemade worker, said that not being able to find a job had made her feel like there's not a place for me in this world. Now, she and other employees spend.
Reason why is because of discriminating, segregating, and the ableism, and them not including that. That's the reason why.
Now, she and other employees spend every day making 34 different flavors of ice cream. They rotate from a total of 62. Howdy Homemade is also available at 10 North Texas supermarkets. More, mom launching toy store for kids with autism, special needs. Workers told ABC News recently that they truly appreciated the opportunity that Howdy Homemade had provided them. Kerrigan said that she'd gained some important life lessons in her job as an ice cream maker. Never take no for an answer. Wrap what you are passionate about and make it happen. Because you are worth living for, she told WFAO TV. Landis, the company's founder, said the employees had given him some sage scoops of wisdom as well. I think I've taught them how to work, and they've taught me how to live, Landis told WFAO TV.
And their attempt at that whack, that I find great, but there is something that a lot of people people, well, what are we do discriminating against? They what are bully us, segregate us because we are different. That how bad the discriminating go against people who are autistic and people who are different. We're technically targets because we're not normal. I had a train horn I hear, but they go after a lot. Like literally, like you see how bad it get for people like that. It's very disturbing. Like literally, like I seen discriminating a lot against the autistic and autism community and people who are disabled or who are different. We're technically dealing with exact same thing that the black people had to deal with back during the civil rights movement, like I said earlier. We are going through the same thing that they gone through. And a lot of people don't realize that. Like literally, if you pay attention well enough, you would actually see it. But it's crazy. Like I see it almost every day on a daily basis. Even for people who are on autism working, they'll find an excuse to fire us sometimes. And literally, like I seen a lot of discriminating, and they wanted to form to their way of acting. If and you know what I was talking about earlier, what happened to Jews, the way that Nazi think, forcing us to act like them. They wanted to. Like it messed up, but it did. It's so fucked up. Like literally. Okay, sorry, but like literally they discriminate against us. And they force us to act like them. Nazi actually, if for people who don't know who are not history buff, the Nazi actually tried doing it to some Jews to make them, when they are young kids, like they actually did took Jewish kids from their parents and tried to, it was technically like brainwashing type of thing, or like what it's technically fucked up and it's hard to explain. But here's the kicker: there are another country that it acting like Nazi Germany back then, but right now, and it another country that you guys probably know a lot about, and again we see China, with what they're doing in Hong Kong, and with the re-educating camps, what I call them concentration camp because that's what they actually are, and the stuff that they're doing in South China Sea, all that is a red flag of how the Nazi acted. And trust me, these are red flags. And people are just turning a blind eye to it. But they're in China, they're taking. I do have some friends who are Muslim, but yeah. And I've been looking at what's been going on in China, and some of the family, like they're Muslim, some of their kids are getting taken away from them while they're put in, technically, they're called concentration camp, what I call them. And they are typically doing the same exact thing that Nazi did to kids of the Jews. With it crazy, but it's something that I know in it red flag. We need to start telling people like China, people who are ableist, all the people that enough. Time for inclusion, accept and now, and ableism, racism, segregation, being racist or somebody because of their religion and all that need to end because there are a lot in the world that is going on. And it's not that bad. We are able to stop it if we start thinking about it and start fighting back and telling them enough, and we start standing up for ourselves. Like what's going on with the autistic community or the autism community. So yeah, and it's stuff that I see on the news, around in public, everywhere, even online. I see it going on everywhere, and it it take that one footstep for change. Take that one for person for change to do it. Ow, crap. But yeah, but with stuff that I was talking about earlier with the autistic and with how I said it's like what China and Nazi did. It did think about it, they kind of fucked up. And China is doing it right now, and people who are autistic are dealing with stuff like that too. So yeah, it did fucked up in a way. Mhm. But you can tell it on the wall. It's right up there. But yeah, and with like parents who do want the kid to act like a normal kid or like normal, and they can't set them for their parts and how they act, then those parents are dangerous. And technically, ABA therapy is part of that problem. It's fucked up, but we need to start telling them enough, and start standing up for our community, our minority. But yeah, now we get onto our chain.
My prayers and support goes to those brave and talented finalists for the second Fights Ku Io vocal competition. Let them shine and stay inspired yet motivated as they conquered the stage this afternoon. Smiling face with heart-shaped eyes. I'll miss this opportunity to see them shine, but my support and prayers once again goes to them. I also prayed for the judges that they may give enlightenment and fairness for their wise choices on which contestants will win for those top 3 places. No biases nor favoritism, but fairness, because to me, all of them are my winners now. Winking face.
That is from my lovely fiance Belbaria from one of the competition. I can't remember what it called again, but yeah. And here's a note from my lovely fiance Belbaria. Just 1 minute.
It was a fun recording session last night with friends. Maestro Alejandro Consolacion 2 and Holland Luke Beulah, Cherry May, Belbaria. Thank you for the opportunity to sing one of your compositions. Filipino baritone flag of Philippines.
You gotta know my fiance is Filipino. But yeah. But it's crazy. You have to think about it. If we stand up to the people who don't accept us for who we are, who discriminate and segregate us, and do ableism against us, we can make it a better world. And tell them we're not dealing with your stuff anymore. we're standing up for ourselves. But yeah, we have to work toward it to bring the change. And with them saying that gap will be non-existent in 10 years, that will be amazing. Meaning that'll be a good thing for autistic people who are on an autism spectrum. But yeah, and there are reasons why. Because that discriminating that we deal with, the segregating and the bullying and all the ableism that we deal with won't be there as is now. And working toward a better future for our community is what we need to work on. But yeah, now it is crazy. Oh, and I am planning down to find out that I got a way to do a group video chat on live stream. I might bring my fiance Vel on so or other people who are autistic. But yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. I hope you guys will be safe. They're coming up Labor Day, or check we did Labor Day weekend and later on to week because of what's been going on. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video and everything. And I'll talk to you guys later. Signing out. Bye guys.